7:40, it is back to school this morning for kids in Solon, Cuyahoga Falls, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, and the Brecksville Broadview Heights School District. Love that there on the chalkboard. I don't know if they love coming back. We'll see. All right, but we are wishing everyone a great day, no doubt about it. And with back to school comes that back to school anxiety.
Oh, it certainly does. And this morning we are teaming up with the Cleveland Clinic to break down tips on handling anxiety for kids, teens, teachers, and us, the parents. So let's kick it off with Matt.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm with Cleveland Clinic Children's pediatric psychologist, Jennifer Ramasamy. And Jennifer, you talk to parents and kids every single day.
Yes.
Let's start with grade school kids, all right?
Sure.
So what are they going through? I've got one headed to kindergarten later this week. Obviously, they have nerves, right? They don't know what to expect. So how can you help calm those nerves for grade school kids?
Sure. I think it's helpful to know that nerves and excitement kind of feel the same in the body. It's hard to differentiate, especially for somebody as young as going into kindergarten, right? Like we got a 5 or 6 year old.
They don't know their emotions yet, right?
No, they don't. So talking through some of those things, what's something you're most excited about, what's something that you might be worried about, can help to start differentiate those things, and also gives them a space to like be able to have a space for both, so that they can not only focus on the worries, but also on the excitement too. Because again, they're not really sure how that feels in their body.
Right. They're still figuring that out. That's great advice. So what about kids? A lot of kids have moved maybe this last year, or maybe they're going to a class where they don't have friends.
Sure.
What do you recommend for not just the kids, but the parents in that situation as well?
Yeah, for any kid going to a new school or even just a new grade, I think it's always helpful to think about maybe stopping by the school and practicing, right? What does the drop-off look like? Where's my classroom? Where do we have lunch? Is it in the classroom or is it in another space? Meeting the teachers. So back to school nights are really important, and making sure that you're meeting the teachers so you have a resource. Maybe meeting the principal or the guidance counselor so they know those faces, and that can help to ground them and feel a little bit more comfortable.
That's great advice. I know we just had a meet the teacher thing, and a lot of parents maybe want to skip that because they're like, oh, I don't have time for that.
Sure.
But it's so important for those little minds for them to get a picture of what's going on out ahead of it.
And to connect early and often too, because then you're able to really know, well, what are things my child has to look forward to once they're at school? And you can pull on those things to, again, pull on that excitement and that wanting to go to school versus feeling kind of nervous about it.
Right. Make it kind of a fun thing. Great advice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to send it over to Danita. We've got obviously the older kids to talk about. Danita, you're going to pick up there.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Well, I just want to put this out here in my own personal session. When my son went to kindergarten, a friend told me, take the day off from work because you're not going to make it. I'm glad she told me that because I cried my eyes out. Oh, it was just so emotional. Dr. Adam Borland is here with me today. What advice do you have for parents who are facing that? The kid is going off to kindergarten. What would you tell them?
This is an experience filled with big emotions.
Yeah.
Potential feelings of sadness, excitement, anxiety, a whole bunch of things all mixed into one. It's important to recognize those emotions and remember these are okay. These are understandable. Don't internalize them. Make sure that you're communicating with your loved ones regarding how this experience is affecting you.
Yeah, and don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Dr. Adams said it. It's okay. It's normal. Now let's go to the empty nesters going off to college. No one's there, back at home anymore. How do you deal with that transition? Because that's pretty major.
That's an experience that can be quite similar. Feelings of loss. This chapter of my child's life is over, right? Having them at home is now a thing of the past, right? They may be off and doing their own thing, which is so exciting, but that means that it's also feelings of sadness and anxiety regarding what's next. Making sure that you're communicating with your loved ones, make sure that you're attending to your self-care.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Self-care, this is where it really kicks in. You got to take care of you. But it comes with admitting, I'm not feeling so great, right?
Absolutely. Validating those feelings and remembering they're normal. And this is exciting.
Yeah.
This is a time for you to pursue activities that maybe you didn't have time to.
Wow, I like that. All right, you heard the good advice here. It's okay, it's gonna be okay. Start doing some things that you enjoy. Thank you so much, Dr. Adam Borland, for that. All right, now we're gonna go off to college. They gotta survive high school first. And I know, Dave Chadowski, you know all about those feelings.
I'm living it. That's right. That's for sure. Okay, Dr. Ramasamy is back, and I have definitely learned that anxiety shows up a lot different as kids get older. What should we look for in that regard?
Sure. So it's interesting with younger kids. Sometimes it comes off as like irritability, that anxiety piece. That can still be true for teens as well. But some of those differences you might see could be with anxiety for teens, the constant checking or constant reassurance seeking. They're asking you the same question over and over and over again, right? With depression, that irritability can still stand, but maybe they're not as engaged with you, or when you're asking questions, you might get one-word answers. That could be typical teenager, but if you're starting to notice that occur more frequently and more isolated, then you might want to be doing the check-ins a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to have conversations side to side versus head on.
Okay.
Because it gives us a little less pressure for the teen and a little more distance, so that they can be able to feel like more comfortable sharing. So I love car conversations.
I do too, yes. That's a good point, and that's why I love them so much. Right? Yeah. So what is the difference between back to school nerves and anxiety, and the difference between actual depression? Because obviously we can see that.
Sure. Back to school nerves, one thing I want to say, it's normal. There are normative levels of nerves, anxiety, right? I would anticipate doing something new, you're going to have some nerves around that. And like I said earlier, some of it can be excited, some of it can be anxious. It's just, how are you interpreting that? Are you getting excited, butterflies in your belly, or do you feel kind of nauseous? Both can feel the same, both come from the same thing. But looking at that, and again, thinking about how when you're getting super anxious, or maybe beyond what we would anticipate, then we have a lot of fear of return, or maybe we get into school avoidance, and that speaks more to like anxiety that we should address.
Yeah, I have to say, I learned a lot here. I feel good about some of what you said, because I feel like I've been doing some of that, but I learned a lot more. So thank you so much for that. And I think a lot of people at home are going to appreciate what you just told us, no question. All right, we're going to send it over to Brissa now, because we can't talk about back to school without teachers.
Yeah, teachers do a lot, that's for sure. It's not just about students when it comes to back to school work, that's for sure. Teachers, and just like all of us, a lot of that can come with burnout when it comes to our jobs. So Dr. Borland, what can teachers, administrators, coaches, really all of us do to avoid burnout when it comes to back to school?
Making sure that you control the controllables.
I like that.
There are so many things that might seem overwhelming this time of year. Monitoring that perfectionism. Take it slowly. One thing at a time, okay? Feel that, you know what, I'm going to approach the first day of school as just that. Everyone's dealing with an adjustment, and I'm going to monitor my own symptoms.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite quotes. Only stress what you can control, because there are a lot of factors. You know, you expect your day to go one way, but there's a lot of outside things that can happen and kind of change how that day goes. So just what advice do you have for teachers on days like today and the first day of school?
Allow for flexibility. Make sure that you communicate with your support system, other teachers, and just take it slowly. Take it one class at a time, take it one task at a time, and recognize those accomplishments. And always make sure that you attend to self-care.
Self-care is really important. That me time is very important as well. I think about my nephew starting school on days like today, and I just give power to all the teachers out there, because we call him like a ball of energy. So I can only imagine when you have 20 of those children in the class as well. So lots of great advice. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, what I loved about this is something that's been a thread. We've got to take care of ourselves and admit when we're not feeling well. That's the ownership of the adult, right?
Yeah, for
Sometimes
sure,
we
for
can
sure.
have the nerves and
Yeah,
butterflies,
we're the
right?
ones, yeah.
And it is interesting when you talk to different people, like, are you excited for your kids to go back to school? Are you nervous? And some say, you know, time slow down, and others are like, I'm ready. It's go time.
It's time to go.
It's time to go.
You guys gave some great advice, and I know everyone is glad that you're here today, because you're helping us get through the process, get through this process. Thank you.
Question.